Hey everyone, welcome to Expert Interviews. I'm your host, Rachel, and today I have the wonderful pleasure of speaking with real estate agent Jason Walker. Jason, thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Now, Jason, let's just dive right on into things and tell me a little bit about how long you've been a licensed real estate agent for.
I've been licensed since 2010.
And let's talk a little bit about your greater market area, Jason. Where is it that you're located? And tell me a little bit about the area that you serve.
Sure, absolutely. Most of what I serve is in Northeast Wyoming. Wyoming's a smaller state in population, so we have to travel a little bit for our business. But that's not to say I don't travel the whole state, because my license does say the whole state of Wyoming. So I have traveled working for different customers throughout my career. There's a fair chance that in the future we'll be licensed in multiple states, but for now it's just Northeast Wyoming and Wyoming in general.
And Jason, tell me a little bit about what it was that inspired you to get involved in real estate. Was this something perhaps that your family was involved in, or just something that you just picked up interest in throughout earlier years in life?
That's a good question. So when I was in high school, my mother always said I'd be a good real estate agent. And I got out of high school and went to college, and I actually started a construction business while I was in college. I was one of those guys. And using my college loans to buy tools, and then doing that sort of thing. But after college, I got in full-time doing my construction business. And in 2005 and 2006, I'd had two separate brokers from different brokerages offer me jobs, at which I turned them down because my construction business was doing so well. And then fast forward to the 2008, 2009 meltdown of the economy in our nation, work was a little tougher to come by. And I stopped and put things on pause for a second. And I got to realizing that this was probably my time to jump in and be a real estate agent and actually learn the business at that point. And, business that wasn't given to me, I had to actually earn it. So I jumped in then. I got my license in 2010 and haven't looked back since.
I know that being a real estate agent, this isn't a job that just anybody can do. So tell me a little bit about the offers that you provide your clients that they just simply can't get anywhere else.
Sure. I'll start with the sellers first. It's actually a twofold question for me. First of all, I offer what's called a menu services, where a seller can choose like a good, better, best program. In that program, we might, depending on the property and what's going on in the marketplace at that time, I may offer like a 30-point or 50-point or 70-point bulletin on marketing and services that we provide. And like I said, each one of these plans, we customize a little bit to match the property and the seller's goals. If you want me to be competitive with all the other real estate agents in town and just cut the price and the services, yeah, I can do that on our good side. But if you want the Lexus treatment and you really want to maximize what we're doing and maximize that sale price for what the market can offer at that time, then we'll do the best program. Next, I offer a program that's uniquely designed for sale by owners. Let's face it, for sale by owners are as much as the marketplace as anything. I respect them. They're usually, my experience tells me, they're trying to skate by for cheap, or they want to try their hand at advertising themselves, and I'll respect that. But either way, there's going to come a point possibly that they're going to require some services that I have, and I'll accommodate that when they arise, depending on what they have going on at that particular moment. For the budget conscious seller, or the seller that's kind of really pinned in a corner for what the market's willing to bear, I've developed what's called a price reduction program that's methodically implemented and backed by statistics and real numbers and analysis. And that's proven throughout the years to be super beneficial, because our markets are volatile from time to time based on our local economies. And that we've sure helped a lot of sellers, just kind of get out of something they thought that they were going to have to release the foreclosure or do a short sale, and we actually avoided that for them. And none of this is ever based on a hunch. Like, it's all accountable, and I can sit down and go through the numbers and show trends and dive into what's going to be important for that seller. For the buyers, I do all the usual activities that you would expect. First time home buyers, representing our veterans, or active military, and any other ordinary real estate buying activities. But here's where I start separating from the rest of the pack. One of the things I go through with my buyers, it's called, there's more to negotiate in a sale other than the price. This activity, I'll walk a buyer through. It's usually a 10-point bulletin, can be 14 or 15 points. Again, depending on the property they're wanting to chase or the type of offer they're wanting to do, or the timing. You know, sometimes it's about timing in certain situations. But I'll walk a buyer through and just say, you know, it's more than just what you're offering. You got to take a second and look at all these criteria and what it means to a seller and what it means to you to buy, and how are we going to make this deal come together? Because there's compromise on both sides. At the end of the day, when we're doing real estate transactions, the end goal is to have the buyer and seller meet in the middle, basically, and come to satisfactory terms. I'm not a transactional realtor by any means. I'm not a one and done type of guy. I have several customers that use me the same as their investment broker or their investment banker. They have me on their inner circle, and I help guide them to the best financial position or solution that they can be in based on their goals and objectives. I've developed a program to help buyers find what's called off the market properties. Sometimes you have a buyer that knows exactly what they want and the market's not producing it, or there's not a seller willing to sell in the open market. So we put together campaigns and we go find a seller that's not publicly offering, and we put together a deal. Sometimes that's where for sale by owners come into play. And at that point, you know, I'm not afraid to put a for sale by owner and a buyer together. It's all about expectations and service at that point, you know. Next, I have developed a credit repair coaching program. You don't always have to pay for credit repair. There are circumstances where you do, I get it. But I've helped enough people through time and learned the ins and outs of that if I got a customer that comes in and says, hey, it's my goal this year to buy a house and put a roof over my family's head, and they go to the lender says, well, your credit score sucks. All right, well, let's improve it. You know, it's not the end of the world. We can do that. I've done it as fast as 30 days. I've had some take over a year. Just depends on what's happened to them in the past and their lack of education. You know, I sit down with these folks and I educate them on what's important, what's not, how to maneuver through the realm of credit repair. The next thing I know, we're back in business. So I can literally take somebody from, oh, you're not eligible to get a loan today, to, yep, we're qualified and ready to roll. I mean, you just got to have the right lender and the right team members in place when it comes to that sort of business. Next, wealth building and investment portfolio advisement, otherwise known as financial advisory role. I've developed a program that's uniquely developed around those that are not built or not born with the silver spoon in their mouth. And they come to me and they have a desire to grow wealth through time. I come from an agriculture background, and this is a similar story in that field. Not all the kids get to go home to the ranch, and the money's always tight. And that's kind of where this thought process come from. But anyway, an adult can come to me, or even a kid just in high school, and tell me what their goals are, and we can start developing this plan for them. And eventually the play is to have them purchase a piece of property or a type of property that they once thought was unattainable. For example, if a country bumpkin comes in and desires to buy a small farm or ranch, but doesn't know how to or can't get the financing, and that literally our biggest obstruction that I see is the down payment money to get involved in such an endeavor. I'll start them off with something small in town, with some investments in town, some a little easier to get into. Sometimes it's, residential versus commercial or industrial. We start small and we start doing these building blocks. And through time, we either buy and sell or buy and hold, or, again, we develop this uniquely around what their final, what they envision their final goals and objectives are. And the next thing you know, if they're really dedicated to that, fast forward 10 years and we got them there. I had one buyer one time, we did it as fast as 5. Got super lucky. We timed some things just right. And it worked out, like super successful buyers there. But this program doesn't only work for just agriculture people. I've got people doing it for commercial and industrial. We're tackling the bigger obstacles in the real estate market there. And the biggest thing with that program is it just takes the time and true dedication really from my side and the customer side to stick to that plan. Next, this is kind of a mix of buyers and sellers. Myself, along with my assistant Amy, we created a book called Connections, and it's a book full of entrepreneurs and business professionals in our communities that we serve. Back to Wyoming, we serve more than one community, and because it's such a small state, so we serve multiple communities. But our goal was to incorporate self-employed people in that book. We can give that book to customers as they come through, and we do business with them. We host other literature in there as well, but overall, it's all about connecting the right businesses with the right people, hence the name Connections. Even I've had a couple instances where a buyer moved to town and the spouse, or buyers moved to town, married couple, and the one spouse didn't have a job, and I opened the book and pointed to a couple different businesses, and boom, there was a job because of the trust building bridges that we go through. We're consistently updating it. And I also tell the businesses that we feature in there that, hey, we start getting bad feedback from our customers that are doing business with you. We can easily pull you out as easy as we put you in. So we have an accountability program even built within our book of Connections that we distribute. We do that free of charge. We don't charge people or businesses to advertise themselves in there. And we do not charge for distribution channels. So totally free. It's something that I pay for out of my own pocket. And it's really turned out to really benefit everyone that's in my circle. Next is, if you're a customer of mine, this one's a simple one. If you're a customer of mine, I'll offer to mail postcards free of charge, like everyday direct mail, on behalf of a nonprofit that you're involved in. Nonprofits usually are struggling a little bit for money and getting information distributed properly. So we'll take that burden on for them. And really, that service is just keeping our community local and, again, connecting one another. Every month I share valuable information with our past and present customers that they may find useful. This is a range of market reports and updates to how best to handle the freezing temperatures in the wintertime, because in my part of the world, it does get cold from time to time. It may also include community updates, contractor recommendations, again, back to our Connections book, or local market statistics in general. But at the end of the day, it's the repeat business that we're really looking for. that's my number one goal. If folks aren't willing to use us or use me multiple times, why would they refer us to their friends or family? Why would we be in their inner circle in financial planning? Like that's not my goal. I'm here for the long haul. And you can expect, we want to expect new customers to engage in these programs and become part of our circles that we've created here. Although every transaction is unique, we offer a very systemized and accountable approach to both buyers and sellers. Every action taken or every recommendation made has a reason behind it. Again, it's not just a hunch.
That when it comes to being a real estate agent, you have to be able to be compassionate, compelling, and obviously very dedicated to your job. So tell me a little bit about what it is that you love about what you do as a real estate agent.
That's a great question. I just love the challenge of it all. I mean, researching properties at the courthouse to working with lenders or lawyers or the court systems, doing estates, being a part of a financial advisory team. It really brings out the best in me, and I get to bring out the best of the other professionals, and most of all, working for our customers. Finding the right properties and solutions for people. I mean, that's what it's all about. Investment planning, I've mentioned that several times. Negotiating. I actually enjoy a good heated negotiation once in a while, especially if it's a cooperative sale and there's a good agent on the other side, and the buyer and seller really engage each other well. I really enjoy a good negotiation exercise. I enjoy the hunt for the right property. I enjoy the mediation of some of the stuff that we do, and the art of advertising. I mean, that's a good part of what our job and what we do effectively. I love that I can help people buy and sell properties, from residential to farm and ranch to small acreages or ranchettes, as they're commonly called, income producing properties or commercial properties. Like I dabble in all realms because of our smaller communities as they are, but yet our customers are got unique desires, I guess. Each one of these brings their own challenges, and yet they're equally rewarding. It's all about the adventure, really. And I really enjoy out competing the competition. There's to some degree, if you don't like to compete and win once in a while, this job ain't for you. I do enjoy good competition. And with that said, good competition really brings out the best in everybody, and everybody wins at that point. And lastly, probably the most gratifying part is when I'm driving around and I see a particular property that I had an influence on, or I helped buy it, I helped sell it for XYZ customer, and remembering what it took to get from A to Z. How did we accomplish their goals and objectives? What were the fallbacks in that transaction? What were the challenges? What were the good things that come out of that? Did we learn, did I learn something out of that? You're always learning something in this business. It's ever changing. So all those things, I just really enjoy all that kind of tied up in a bow, really.
Now, Jason, if we could maybe touch, on the gratification that comes with being a real estate agent, let's talk about if there's any charities or causes that you donate to or hold close to your heart.
Sure. Pretty simple list, really. Skills USA, I don't know if everybody's heard of that, but that's kind of it's a group focused on educating the youth in trades, different trades. I'm a part of the local farmers market group here, strong supporter of 4-H and FFA, youth sports, and then on a bigger scope, the Shriners Hospital and St. Jude's will donate to once in a while. But most importantly, probably the most rewarding one is when a youngin comes in and gets in front of me and they're fundraising for whatever group they're a part of or whatever team they're a part of, and they sell me. Not mom and dad coming in and selling me, but the kid. I guarantee you, I don't care what it's for. When that kid comes in and tries to sell me, it's over as soon as they walked in and said hi.
And now, Jason, I know that as a real estate agent, free time is not something that is always of an essence. And in your situation as a very successful real estate agent, I can only imagine that spare time is definitely not in your schedule. But when you do have some, what are some activities that you enjoy?
Well, I really enjoy going back to our family's ranches. We got 2 family ranches that I'm a part of. I enjoy remodeling homes on the side or woodworking, making crafts and giving them away to family and friends. I really enjoy getting in the car and just driving the countryside, clearing my head and seeing what's out there in the world outside of our local bubble. And that, that could be a day trip or it could be a week-long vacation, but just getting in the car and driving and staying off the freeways or uh, the main highways coming and going, getting off in the country and seeing our small communities and enjoying what they have to offer. I enjoy going to our local rodeos and, the horseback riding. Kind of a lost art. I really enjoy playing cards. It's a little tougher to find people to play cards with, it seems like, anymore, but I really enjoy playing cards, especially with my wife. Playing board games. We got family and friends that we do all that with from time to time. But most of all, honestly, I just enjoy working. Like when you're self-employed, it's a lot like playing sports. You got to plan, and there's the building and the practicing and exercising and then executing a game plan. Like when I come to work every day, it's fun for me, good or bad. If it's bad, you learn something from it. If it's great, you get compensated for it. And then you just reevaluate and repeat and go. Like that's what I really enjoy. You're always having to look ahead, review the past, and live in the present. I mean, if you're not living in the present and looking ahead, what are you really doing? So, with all that said, like currently I'm a part of 6 different businesses, and one of them being my real estate business. 4 of them, my wife and I own independently. The other 2 were more hands off and we're silent partners, but we're still part of those businesses. From putting roofs over the heads of people to food production to the construction industry to sports medicine industry. It's all a lot of fun. And yet we impact our community in one fashion or another. So when you enjoy your job and you enjoy what you're doing, you get to provide jobs to others. You get to be a part of your community and be an asset to your community and your state and your country. Like, that all plays a role. And I really find that rewarding. And again, all my jobs that I do are fun. And we make them fun. If you don't make it fun, why do it? So with all that said, I mean, a lot of the work we do, it fills my heart. It's worthwhile. And it's just what becomes you, or at least that's what it has for me. When I lay my head down at night, I know that I've done everything within my means and my experience or expertise to get something done to benefit not only me, but whomever I'm working for. And that fills my heart.
Now, Jason, if we could maybe jump into a time machine, go back to 2010 when you were first dabbling into the world of real estate, what's maybe a piece of advice that you wish you would have stumbled upon during that process?
You can't take your work personal. You have to stay focused and professional. Those are kind of give me's, but the amount of hats that we end up wearing every day, customers ask a lot of us. We end up having to research, for a lot of answers or information to help our buyers or sellers move through the process. If somebody would have told me how fast real estate markets change, from the outside point of view, it doesn't seem like it. But once you're in the business, it's really kind of astonishing how fast the market can move from time to time. How fast or how different the job can look from time to time. That one surprised me after getting into the business. How hard it is to sell someone else's product. This one's one of my favorites. Real estate's unique. It's not a production line where you're selling 100,000 of the same Snickers bars or 1 million of the same Pepsi cans. You know, everybody's property is unique. Everybody's goals and objectives are unique. You're never selling the same thing twice. And we have to accept what someone else has done or wants and apply our systems and go find a buyer or seller that wants to do an exchange. That's really where the challenge of this is. Real estate's truly unique. It's part of the adventure that I mentioned earlier. And got one thing I was probably prepared for, but you never know how prepared you are for it until you get into it, is the level of emotions, the wants and the needs, and then you mix it with the money. I'm here to tell you, at the drop of a hat, you better be ready for a phone call any day of the week. The problem solving that goes into it. I wish that someone would have mentioned to me the average wage of a realtor before I got into it. I may have come into it with a little different business model, but we made it through. It's all right. And the time commitments, and not only for me, but family. I wish someone would have mentioned the time commitments. Yeah, we get flexible hours and flexible schedule, but I guarantee one thing. I work more hours in any given week than most of the public would ever expect. And yeah, it's not a set schedule, but yet it's really hard because it's not set, it's really hard for yourself and family to move through on a daily or weekly basis.
Jason, tell me a little bit about why, at the end of the day, home buyers or sellers for that matter should choose you above all their other options.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. I'm a salt of the earth kind of guy, and I'm just going to lay it out there. Buyers and sellers should only hire me if they think I'm going to positively contribute to their goals and objectives. Sometimes that isn't possible. There's a personality conflict, a timing conflict, political conflicts, or whatever the conflict may be. It just might not ever work out. But if you want me to be your head coach and be involved in your real estate endeavors, I'd love doing that. I'd love to be in part of your empire, part of your destiny, and assist you from getting from A to Z. All this, everything that I do is determined by honesty, trustworthiness, and overall being around for the long haul. I want the opportunity to interview with you and to win your business. I mean, but if I don't, and I'm not a good fit, that's okay too. I get it. We all know that buyers and sellers are going to do their homework and really scout me out before they even call me. So, and that's great. Do your homework. Word of mouth is always good. Referrals are great. A lot of our business is built on that. Testimonials online and in person with your family and friends. Do your homework. I recommend it. And then call me. You know, don't start out with, the softball stuff. I'm okay with you doing your homework and then contacting me. Second, the scope of my job changes. For example, buyers don't rely on realtors to find them properties so much anymore. Let's face it, the internet and the speed of the internet has changed that world. Where buyers find me most beneficial, for example, is moving through the buying process in a timely fashion, not going breaching a contract, and negotiating the terms of the offer that best suit them, just to name a few reasons. But the most important reason currently why buyers and sellers are finding not only me, but real estate agents in general beneficial, if they're any good at what they do, is scammers and spammers. Honestly, these types of people are making my job more relevant every day. So I thank them. They're a nuisance. I hate them, but I thank them. You see, once I'm the established go-to professional, the trust bridge is built and created. Therefore, no matter what happens moving forward, I know the people that should be talking to you, engaging you, and working on your behalf. The underwriters, the lender, the title company people, the whole circle, inspectors, whoever. And if they're not in that circle, I'm going to know about it, and that you might be getting scammed. I've seen it. It's been unfortunate. Not my customers have seen it. I've only heard about it from other realtors. But the amount of emailing and technology that we have in our hands with our phones and computers anymore, the information age has truly been a huge benefit, and yet it's a double-edged sword, right? It's huge because of the speed of information, but yet scammers and spammers are lurking around every corner. So you better know who you're talking to. And stay out of those fraud cases and scamming incidences. I don't want that to happen to my customers, and we work diligently to ensure that that doesn't happen. You know, obviously we hope that doesn't happen. The potential is real every day. We read about it in the newspaper every day. And there's a lot of money at stake with real estate. So you better know who you're dealing with and who you're doing business with. And like I said, the information age, again, has proven to be both a blessing and a curse. I just happen to be in a position to guide my customers more thoroughly.
Jason, there's a million and one reasons why it is very apparent as to why you are as successful as a real estate agent as you are. So thank you so much for joining us today on Expert Interviews.
Appreciate you. That was quite the experience leading up to this and actually going through it.